What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is about the Godfather of Harlem, Season 1, Episode 2, The Nitty Gritty. Now, a lot is going on with this episode. I break it all down and tell you what it is. And if you enjoy my reviews and you enjoy recaps with a little bit of humor, please subscribe and hit that bell notification so you're notified when I drop new videos. I'm trying to get to 30K subs by the end of the year. I appreciate your support, and hit that like button if you would recommend this video to others. Let's get into it.
So, episode 2, it starts off with Bumpy, and he's trying to organize the Negroes, and he's basically talking to one of the young studs that's in charge running things, and it's his birthday. He's celebrating with a couple lady friends. Bumpy pulls him to the side, and he talks to him about organizing and different things, and he's saying, well, you know, it sounds good. I got respect for you, Bumpy, and but I just don't think that this will work, and we get the doogie cheaper, and it's better quality from the Italians than if I did it with the Spanish. And so out of respect, I'm gonna say no. And so Bumpy, he like, okay, I understand. It is best if we organize. That's the one thing that the Italians got over us, but nevertheless, you go ahead, have a happy birthday. And then next thing you know, he give him a shake, and instead of a shake, he give him a cut his throat. And next thing you know, he gave him a Colombian necktie for a birthday present. He falls dead right then and there. So then we see later Chin, and he has one of his dealers, this dude named Ernie, and he's driving a new Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, which was like a little sports car at the time, and he's busted, looking obvious like a dope dealer, and the cops pull him over, find a little bit of dope, heroin, that horse, that doogie in the trunk, and next thing you know, some detectives come, and they take over the bust, and they bring him with it, and so the detectives end up bringing the dope over to Chin, and they tell him, hey, we got this dope, you need to buy it back. And so Chin don't want to buy it back, but eventually after they negotiate, he decides he'll buy it back for the price the cops want. And then he says, hey, I'll give you some money, some more money, if you go ahead and take out this other dude. And he basically convinces them to go after Bumpy to take him out. And so we see that Bumpy is trying to go and buy the doogie, the dope, the heroin, the horse, that you know, long ride. And so he's meeting up with this dude that his buddy Guapo, the Spanish dude, put him on to. And so when he goes there, next thing you know, this dude Guapo Connect is all tweaking out, and he's Bumpy is like, what's the problem? Why you sweating? It's colder than a witch's titty out here, and you over here sweating. He like, hey, look, man, you got the money or what? So Bumpy say, the money close by, where the doogie, where the stuff. And so he tested out. He like, man, this is junk, man. What is this? And so next thing you know, these cops come out the back room, and they say, you under arrest, this is a bust. And then old boy say, hey, man, I had to. They said that they would, you know, set me up or whatever. And next thing you know, they shoot dude right in the head, right then and there. And so now they like, Bumpy, you going down for murder and for drug dealing. And so while Bumpy is in trouble now with the Italians, because Chin says to the Italians that he killed his made man, and that Bumpy, of course, when he talks to you know, Frank, who keeps the peace between all the gangs, an old school OG Italian, he tells him, of course, I deny it, I didn't kill him, but Bumpy did. That's the dude in episode 1 that Bumpy killed when he was sampling a little brown pudding, you know what I'm saying, a little fish taco that he was eating down below, and next thing you know, Bumpy came up on him and killed him. Nevertheless, we see Chin's daughter, okay, and she's got a black boyfriend, okay, and so of course Chin is upset about that, and she's going around with his record and trying to get it into some good hands, because she believes that he could be somebody big and special in the music industry. Now, Chin sets his daughter up and tells his daughter to go out with this Italian guy if she really wants his forgiveness and wants to make up with him for going out with the Negro. And so she agrees because she told him, we broke up, we ain't together no more. And so she goes out with him, not realizing that this was a setup by her paparazzi the whole time. And so Bumpy, he comes home later stressed. He's got a lot going on. The streets is crazy. And his wife tells him that he may be behind the times and that he's getting old, and it's also hard to teach an old dog new tricks. But you might be able to fool a young dog, a little bow wow, with some new tricks. And so he thinks about it for a minute, and that was some good game that she gave him. And she was on his side with that because he ends up using that down the road. And so he goes and he visits his daughter because at the end of episode 1, he saw his daughter and she was hooked on that horse, that doogie. And so he talks to Malcolm X and gets her into their local rehab. And so he goes to visit his daughter in the rehab, and she's strung out like a $1.50 hoe. And he says, she wants to see her daughter when she gets out. That's all that she thinks about. And she asks him, what have you told her about me? How's she doing? And he basically didn't have nothing to say. And she realizes this dude ain't even told her nothing about me. She don't even know I'm her mother. And so she's pissed. She tell him to get out of there. He's upset. He leaves. And she's really heartbroken about it because she was kind of looking forward to seeing her daughter. And, that was one thing helping her motivate her to get clean. Nevertheless, Bumpy realizes as he's talking to Malcolm X later that he wasn't a good dad. He wasn't really there for her. He was always chasing a buck or two, and in turn left her hanging to fend for herself. And Malcolm X is there trying to console him and let him understand that she needs time, and these type of things that you have to come to reality with yourself, the reasons why you ended up in that situation. And so Chin's daughter, later we see Stella, that's the daughter's name, she goes on a date with this white boy that Chin set her up with. And so while she's there, the white boy name is Ernie. It just happens to be the same white boy that got busted with the dope by the cops earlier in the episode. And so Ernie, he takes her and says, hey, you want to go and hear some Negro music? And she like, yeah, I like Negro music. Let's go. I know a great spot. And so, of course, she takes him to a spot. He assumes that's the spot where her Negro boyfriend sings. But he's out of town. And that wasn't where he's singing at that moment, but she knew some of the singers. So while their singer was taking a break, she goes to the back talking to him. He sneaks around, peeping around corners because his mind playing tricks on us, and he thought that maybe that's the dude. But it wasn't the dude. And once the dude was done talking, she give him a hug. He leaves. He sneaks out the back door, out the front door, and he's waiting for the dude. And as the dude's walking down the street, he just pops him point blank range, drops dead instantly, and he just leaves the gun right there. And so he walks back in all cool, calm, and collected and tells her, I left my wallet in the car. And he said it all cool, like the other side of the pillow, like it was nothing, like just taking out the trash, killing the Negro. And so she's sitting there not knowing the wiser, and they enjoy the rest of the evening and whatever the case. And so we see that Bumpy, he meets with Chin later, face to face at Chin's spot, and Chin is pissed, and he's like, hey, look, you was wrong. Why you coming here? And Bumpy say, hey, why you trying to set me up? I did years in the pen. I didn't snitch. I ain't no snitch. Now you trying to set me up with the cops. What's up with that? And he say, oh, okay, that's what it is. Well, look, we can call each other on truth if you want. You kidnapped my daughter. You killed my made man. What's going on with that? And Bumpy, he denies it. He's saying, I didn't kill him, but I can find out who did it. And the made man is Zambrano. And he's like, that's the dude Bumpy actually did kill, though. And so he said, look, if you want, we can keep this up and we'll be at war. and that'll be a problem for both of us. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna find out who killed Zambrano. Matter of fact, and the phone was on the table, and Bumpy turned it around, and Chin had the phone number on the phone. That's how old school this was. And he like, I got your number. I'm gonna get back in touch with you. And so he leaves. And so when he gets in the car, Bumpy's guys is like, what was that all about? He's like, hey, I got his number now. It may come in handy. Or better yet, I got his number now. It may come in handy. And so when we see later on, Bumpy calls his old cop connection, because when Bumpy was arrested by those cops and they tried to set him up, that one of the higher ups in the police station is somebody Bumpy used to work with and throw payouts to. And so Bumpy ends up working with him, some type of arrangement, because he finds out that inside the police station there's a lot of dope and a lot of that Gucci. And so he works out a deal to buy it from him and give him his cut. After they do so, it was like 30 keys. And so he says, you know, us old dogs, we got to work fast with these tricks on the young dogs before they catch on. And so we see that he works with the old cop. The old cop has somebody throwing the Doogie out the window. Bumpy got somebody picking it up. We see that the old cop got Chin's number on a piece of paper, setting up the two young cops that was trying to work for Chin to pinch Bumpy, and they pretty much put two plastic bags over their head and bag them up like the bologna sandwiches they is and kill them. And so he takes care of those dirty cops with the dirty cops in Bumpy's pocket. And so we see later Bumpy's daughter leaves rehab. She's still looking dirty and disheveled, and she goes straight to Bumpy's house and knocks on the door, and Mamie, who is Bumpy's wife, answers the door, and she like, let me see my daughter. And then Mamie and her go back and forth, well, that ain't your daughter, I'm the one raised her, this, that, the other. She say, I don't give a damn what you did, still ain't your daughter. And so she says, you wait right here. And so while she goes to get her purse, Elise, that's Bumpy's daughter, walks in the house, and she tries to give her $100. And she like, I ain't taking your money. She like, oh yeah, you think you can buy me? She said, yeah, I know I can. Here's $100, take it. And so she ends up grabbing the vase and throws it down and busts it up. And then the next thing you know, when she turned her head, Mamie had a gun. Like, hey, look, I ain't playing with you. You take this money and get out, or else you about to take a bullet. And so Elise frees and thought about it. And after, a couple of seconds thinking, she decides she's going to take that money and get her ass up out of there, which is what she did. And so she ended up, getting back on that horse. And later, Bumpy comes home, and he sees that the glass is broke and everything, the vase, and he asks his wife what happened, and she say, Elise came back. I told you what would be up if she tried to get clean and the problems she caused. And so we see that, hey, Bumpy got other issues going on. And at the end of the episode, we see Stella, boyfriend Teddy, the black dude, coming back in town because he just can't stay away from that white sugar. And so that's how the episode ends. It was crazy. It's a lot of good writing, a lot of drama going on, and it's really interesting how the show picks up and starts off. And it's really what makes it more interesting is that these are real people, real characters. Of course, they got to improvise and come up with a lot of stuff to fill in the blanks, but it is very good writing, very good drama, and a lot of good shows are always good in the beginning. But this is another good show that's good in the beginning. So on EPIX, if you got a chance, I would definitely check it out. Forrest Whitaker is doing a great job, as always. He is a great actor. Sometimes people forget about how good he is because, I don't know, he's just kind of underrated and he don't have that Denzel type of look, if you know what I mean. But anyway, check it out if you ain't seen it. Godfather Harlem, good show. I got some more reviews coming. I know I'm behind right now, but I'm about to catch up. This is Jay. I'll holler at you later. Peace.
Well, there you have it. It's time for some real talk recap. I think the episode turned out to be shaping up pretty good. Bumpy's got a nice fight on his hand that's getting ready to come for the fight at Soul of Harlem, and I can't wait to recap and review the rest of the episodes. Tell me what you think in the comments, and last but not least,
watch it.
Please
Leave
a
comment,
hit
that
like
button
and
subscribe.
and
I'll see you
And
the next
video